Alright, let's start with dragging in the 3D model we're going to use. And let's make a simple scene here. We have a spatial node, we'll call it world, and save that, and then make another scene and add in a spatial node, and we'll call this, I don't know, tiles, I guess, and add in a mesh instance as a child, and then make that into a cube mesh, make it size 1. And then I'm going to go select this, go to mesh here, create convex static body, and I'll call it a block here, save that, and then convert to a mesh library, call this blocks.meshlib, and then come back to world, add in a grid map, draw on the blocks thing here. We can now paint blocks. Make sure, go to cell, set the cell size to 1 by 1 by 1. Go up here, click this, set it to edit on the z-axis. And sometimes you get some weird graphical issues with that. Just unselect and reselect to make it go to normal. And then I'm going to go center Z and uncheck that so that it'll be right on the center when we place blocks. And you can just place some blocks out and make a simple scene, however you want it to look. Like so, whatever. And so you can see they're centered along this axis here. And then I'll also add in a directional light, I guess. And make it local there. There we go. Okay, so now let's make the player. So let's add in a new scene, add in a kinematic body, and call this player, add in a collision shape and a camera, and then also let's drag on the mesh that we imported there, make it editable children, and I'll rename this to graphics, and then after reselect editable children, go to the animation player in it, go to walk and set it to be looping. I will also rotate the graphics by 90 degrees on the X so it's facing along that way. Save this scene. Collision shape, I'll make it a capsule shape here. And I will transform, rotate it by 90 on the X, and then just kind of scale it in until it's the same size as the character. Kind of move it up like that. Okay, so that about covers the character as I want it to. And I will move the camera out like that about. So that looks pretty good there. And then come onto the kinematic body here, axis lock, and check linear Z. So that way it can't move along the Z axis. It'll be stuck on the X and Y. And then I'm going to go to project settings, input map, add in move right, move left, and jump. And then we'll just do a D for move right, A for move left, and space for jump. And then add a script onto this. So start by initializing a bunch of variables. Move speed 5 units per second, jump force 12 units, gravity, maximum fall velocity. This will record, y-velo will record our current velocity on the y, and then facing right determines if we're facing right or not. And then also get a reference to the animation player there under graphics. And then in our physics process, we'll go in and move direction will be calculated. Starts at 0. If we press to move right, it'll add 1. Move left, add -1. And then we'll call move and slide, creating a vector 3. So we'll just move along the X by using move direction times our move speed, move along Y with our current Y velocity, and don't move along Z. And then this will be what is up, specify the up direction, the normal of what's up. And then we're going to calculate just jumped. That records if we just pressed to jump and we just jumped into the air. Grounded is just is on floor, which is updated when anytime you collide with the floor. Y velo is just we're gonna subtract gravity times the delta every frame. We're gonna check, then clamp it. If our Y velocity is less than our max fall speed, then just clamp it to the max fall speed. And if we're on the ground, then set it to this minimum amount so that we're always touching the ground, so is on floor gets updated. And if we press the jump button and we're on the ground, then apply the jump force, set our Y velocity to be up by jump force, and set just jump to be true. Then we need a flip method. So function flip, just take our rotation on the Y and multiply it by -1. That'll rotate you by exactly 180 degrees, and then flip the facing right variable. So go into the physics method here again, and just check if move direction is negative and we're facing right, then we need a flip, and if we're moving to the right and we're facing left, then flip. And then finally we need a animation controller thing. So just function play anim, just check if we're currently playing that animation, don't do anything, otherwise call play animation. And then we're just going to go in here. If we just jumped, play the jump animation. Otherwise, if we didn't and we're on the ground and we're not moving, then play idle. If we are moving, play walk. So I'll come back into world here, and I'll instance the player right there, and also come into the mesh here of it with the player, new spatial material, add in, set the color to something like green, I guess, just to make it easier to see. And then also, if you want to put in a rigid body, you could do that. Let's see, add in a mesh, sphere, and collision shape, sphere, and let's set the color to red. And then if I run this scene, set the world to the main scene, you can see we can move and jump, and we'll touch the ball there. Oh, I think I set the collision wrong on this. It is 1 unit off. There we go. There. So you're able to push, oh, whoops, I forgot to lock this, hang on. Go into axis lock here and check that linear Z lock. And these are also off there. There we go, make sure it's all centered. And I don't like how high it's jumping, I'm gonna change that. There you go, you're able to push it, and you can move and traverse around pretty easily.